What is really happening in the Nigerian real estate space? In today's video, I'm going to be ranting because the prices of building materials are at an all-time high. All-time high, like we've never seen this before, and I'm afraid it might not get better. I don't know, because how can you explain that? As of last year, we were complaining that the price of cement was 5,000 naira. Because I remember one of my clients then, he was doing his foundation and he was complaining, this thing is going high, 5,000 naira. How will we be buying cement for 5,000 naira? That January this year, it was still around that 5,100, 5,150. Now, the one that had to even compel me to do this video was as of last week. So I'm making this video on Tuesday, Tuesday 13th of February. As of last week was 5th. Yeah, last week was 5th of February. Cement was selling for 5.3, then 5.5 in some places, 5.2 in some places. Then as at Wednesday, the 9th of February, we started selling for 5.8. That's like, let's say 500, 300 naira increase. Tell me why the cements are sold for 5.8 as at 9th, that's Wednesday. Sorry, as at 7th on Wednesday. Why would that same cement sell in the next 2 days for 7,800? How do you explain it? It was selling for 5.8, and then on Wednesday 5.8, then Friday it sold for 7,800. Guess what? Today, being Tuesday, the 13th of February, cement is now selling for 9.5. In some places, it's selling for 10,000 naira. How do you explain that? Like, how do you even explain that? Reinforcement, that's iron rod, at the beginning of this year, last year around November, I think it was around 515 or so, 515,000. That's a ton. As at January, it was around 570,000 naira. How can you explain that from January to just the 13th of February is now 1 million naira? 1 million naira. This is just like I just mentioned cement and iron. Like, these are just two things out of like a ton of building materials. Everything is getting expensive. Like I really feel for developers right now, especially developers that are building houses of plan. I really feel for them, and that is why when they actually charge most of their prices, and I try to explain to clients that are complaining that the prices are too much, and I'm like, do you really want these guys to deliver? Because if I'm charging you, for instance, if I'm charging you 40 million naira for a 4-bedroom terrace duplex, and okay, that's actually not reasonable. If I'm charging you 60 million naira for a 4-bedroom terrace duplex, and you want to pay in 12 months, and I'm saying, okay, you have to add 10 million naira interest on it, and you're complaining that the price is too much, it's so high. Most times it's because of things like this, because they actually did their calculation of a 4-bedroom terrace at 60 million naira. They probably did the calculation as at 5,000 naira for cement, at 500,000 naira for iron rod, sand, kitchen wares, bathroom wares, and a lot of all those, other things. They did their calculation at a specific price, and then at least they added a little bit, and then they added a little margin for interest. Who would be able to predict or even to explain that cement can go from 5,000 naira to 10,000 naira? These are the things that most of them really don't even put into consideration, because come to think of it, you don't expect that to happen in the space of 1 month or even less than 1 month. Like, it's not even supposed to happen. So most times when they charge this money for interest, and then a lot of clients tend to start bargaining, you're charging too much, they're actually doing this to forestall inflation and things like this, and so that they don't compromise on quality. Because trust me, it's one thing to buy a house, it's one thing to build a house, and it's another thing to build quality houses. There are a lot of developers in Lagos that there are a lot of developers in Lagos that claim affordable housing, and they can give you a bungalow for 30 million naira, 40 million naira. Seriously, I've entered some of those houses and they're finishing, the structures, foundation, everything is just rubbish. I was contacted by a client last year. He saw my video on YouTube and he contacted me. So he complained about his house. He bought this house not from me. He bought this house in October last year, and as at January, February. So just look at it, within the space of October to February, and he bought this house brand new. Paint was already wearing off, and but the worst part of it is that the house was, like the paint was accumulating water. When rain falls on the house, and you can actually see that the paintings were already wearing off, they were green, and a lot of water, like it was absorbing water. It was that bad. And when I got there, I had to quietly inspect the houses in that neighborhood, and I found out that a lot of developers were actually building rubbish. And if you look at it, those guys, in fact, a lot of developers do that. They compromise on building materials. And no, I'm not holding beef for developers, because inflation does not mean you should build substandard quality. I mean, human beings are going to live in this house, so it's already a hazard, disaster waiting to happen, right? So what am I saying? Prices of building materials are going up steady, and right now, if you notice, across a lot of companies, especially developers building houses in Lagos right now, you'll be seeing sales close. In fact, in Amen Estate bungalows, Amen Estate just launched their bungalows early this month, late January stroke early February, and right now, in fact, as at last week Friday, they closed sales on the bungalows because building materials inflation. Landmark was supposed to launch the avocado apartment in Yaba on the 1st of February, but guess what? The MD had to call it off. He said we cannot put this into the market now and put a price on it when building materials are not even stable. Main council apartment at Maryland just launched last week, and guess what? By the end of February, they'll be putting a hold on their sales on that particular estate and even other estates they have right now, especially those ones selling off plan, because of the same thing, building materials. So what am I trying to say? And what is the way around this, you might want to ask? The cheapest way, let me use that word, the cheapest way, or the much more economical way to buy properties, because if you want to hold off buying properties right now because of the prices, seriously, it might not get better. It's an unfortunate situation. So I'm not going to tell you that, if you get to a time prices will come down. It might not come down, at least not within this administration. It might not come down. So the earlier the better. Earlier you better. Like the house you would have bought for, in fact, as at 2021, you could still get a 4-bedroom terrace for like 30 something million naira, but now you can't even get it for 65 million naira. It's that bad. And prices of houses in this 2024 is really going to be shocking to everybody, because building materials are not smiling. So like the best way, or the most economical way, right, to buy a house, especially if you want to buy a house, or even land, right, right now, is to pay in advance. What do I mean pay in advance? Buy off plan. So don't go for a finished house. Buy a house off plan. By off plan, I mean when the construction is still ongoing. That way, whether the price increases or not, it's not going to affect you. But also, if you're buying off plan, it's very pertinent to buy from a company that will not compromise on quality no matter what, because most or some developers will have to, or might have to go that route, because they will definitely not come back to the client and say, price of building materials has increased and this was not what we anticipated, so you're going to be giving us an additional 20 million naira. No, it's not going to happen. Like in most cases, for 98% of cases, it's not going to happen. So for some of them, But some of them, they would want to go the route of compromising on quality, but some, or very few, will still maintain the integrity of their construction. So that is what you have to be careful of. Go for a company that no matter what will happen, they stand on their word. They will stand on their word to deliver quality as well. And number two, please see, I've met a lot of clients that they want to buy a house, but they are looking for the cheapest option, like telling you about the cheapest option. And I was trying to explain that it's not about getting a cheap option. Of course, there are a lot of cheap houses, but the question is, will it last after 2 years? In fact, some of them 1 year or less than 1 year, the POP will be pulling off. Like, those are what you get when you want to go for cheap houses. Because are there cheap houses? Yes, but these guys compromise on, as in, oh my god. Oh my god, of course, you cannot expect to get something very, very solid for a very, very cheap price. So please, I beg you, if you want to buy a house, like you're already spending money, like you're already bringing out money to buy that house, just try and go for the best. And when a developer tells you you have to pay interest, especially if you're going to spread your payment, please just do it. It is just to forestall things like this, right? It's really nobody's fault. Like, it's not your fault, right? It's actually not your fault. It's not the developer's fault too, but you know, that's how the economy is. Like, that's the economy. That is the situation we are right now, right? And okay, I started this video ranting. I was really angry because I don't know, like, it's really crazy. Inflation is very, very crazy. So the best thing you can do is just buy in advance. Anything you want to buy, do it today. Like, do it today. Because as I'm speaking, price of cement is now 10,000 naira. By tomorrow, if I even get 15,000 naira. That is it. And developers have to keep updating their prices. It's really crazy, but there is really nothing we can do right now. So if you still plan on buying a house this year, or even buying a land, because lands too are not exempted, because they have to do a lot of development on the land, they have to do fencing, they have to do gatehouse and other infrastructure to that require these building materials. So of course it will continue to go up. So whatever you want to do right now, like, do it now. Do it right now. And of course, I'm here to guide you through the process, through your real estate investment process right here in Lagos, Nigeria, or even in other states in Nigeria too. My name is Peace Okafor, and I'm your real estate investment advisor and sales expert in Lagos, Nigeria, and I give you profitable properties to invest in, both lands and houses, and also tips on how to make the most of your investment and to make profitable investment. That's 2024. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and turn on the notification bell. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye, and thank you for tuning in.